Hello and welcome to Climate Check with me, Mary Mwiikisa. Now, Zambia's mining sector is booming and we know that so many mines are opening, so many mines have been recommissioned and commissioned. We saw President Hakainde Hichilema taking on a tour of duty various parts of the country with an interest in mining. As a country, we are targeting to produce 3 million metric tons by the year 2031. This does not mean everything will be all rosy, because apart from the jobs that will be created, mining comes with its own challenges on the environment. How are we taking care of the environment even as we grow the mining sector? And of course, some of the organizations that are in the forefront of ensuring that we are reminded of taking care of the mining sector and the environment is Publish What You Pay Zambia. And we'll be speaking to the National Director, Mr. Mwiikisa. But before that, I would like for us to take a short break, and on the other side, we'll delve on the conversation for the day. Now imagine if trees could provide Wi-Fi, just how many trees you would plant? Well, they provide oxygen. We definitely cannot do without it. Destruction of nature, such as forests, has led to irreversible climatic changes to our world. Join me as I talk to policy formulators, change makers, and climate change interest groups on Climate Check, weekly on this channel. Now you are the solution to climate change. Now, in a quest to ensure that mining is done sustainably and everything is done in accordance with the law, the government of the Republic of Zambia has created what is called the Minerals Regulation Commission. What is its focus? We will be discussing this and appreciate the role it will play in environmental sustainability and ensuring that mining companies comply with the laws of the land. I now introduce my guest, Mr. Mwiikisa, who is National Director for Publish What You Pay Zambia. Thank you for joining us on Climate Check.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
It's the first time on the show.
The first time on the show, and the first
I'm wondering where you've been.
The first time in a long time to be back in znbc studio. It's been a long time.
Let's first appreciate what your organization is all about.
Yeah, so Publish What You Pay is a coalition of civil society organizations that are committed to ensuring that revenue from the country's minerals, from the country's oil and gas, benefit the citizens, and in particular those that live closer to where the mining takes place. So we are present in 8 of the 10 provinces.
Okay.
As a member organization, our board is elected, and currently it's chaired by the Mine Workers Union of Zambia. Okay. The national secretariat, which I head, is based in Lusaka. Okay. So we're talking about around about a minimum of 40 civil society organizations are members
as part of the coalition. The coalition. Yeah. And the mining sector obviously is of great interest to you. Let's first get your general perspective on how Zambia's mining sector is faring at the moment.
There's been, the mining sector has a lot of attention. Okay. As maybe it should be, because as you know, it's one of the 3 economic sectors of the country, 3 or 4 economic sectors of the country. Lots of interest, lots of investments, and lots of expectations. Exactly. And I'm not sure those expectations are being met. Okay. I'm not sure those expectations are being talked about in a manner that everybody understands that this is what we expect and this is the role you're going to play in delivering or realizing these expectations. Okay. Now, the Minerals Regulation Commission has been put in place to oversee some of these activities. In your view, how can we appreciate its presence? What is its mandate? So, first of all, we need to commend the government for putting or establishing the commission. For a long time, civil society has been talking about improved governance of the mining sector. And at the very basic, it is wrong governance to have an institution that is formulating policy and also implementing So the decision to eventually and finally put in place a commission is a good first step to enhancing the governance of the mining sector and ensure that policy does not interfere with implementation and oversight and so on and so forth. So the Ministry of Mines remains solely responsible for policy formulation.
Okay. And
then the commission execution. I think once we do the right things, eventually we should be able to get ourselves a mining sector that delivers for the country.
What gaps do you think were identified that led to the establishment of the commission?
Well, many things. Yeah, many things. First of all, it was conflicting. As I mentioned, you can't supervise yourself. You can't police yourself. So that very establishment was creating conflicts and was raising suspicion around transparency, enforcement, and even the issues to do with beneficiation, or how to ensure that the mining benefits the communities. Mining actually works for the economy. Those were serious concerns that we, at that time, we didn't think the ministry could deal with conclusively. So, and I mean, when you talk about the issues of the ASM sector, because, you know, the citizens' involvement in mining through ASM, artisanal small-scale mining, was also growing. Okay. But not much attention was being paid. Yes. So everything was just in one space. So I think some of the things that precipitated or made valid the creation of the commission.
Okay.
Yeah. Now
let's appreciate the role that this commission will play in complementing the already existing works of the Ministry of Mines.
I think maybe for the next 3 years or longer, we may not see that much separation, because we should provide for a transition, because a lot of functions, a lot of responsibility, a lot of roles still sat with the Ministry of Mines. And I think as we transition, as we move towards the commission and making sure that it is effective, we should allow for some period where there could be overlap. And maybe that is one of the things that the ministry could come up with and communicate, that yes, there's a commission, but the transition period will be 3 weeks, 3 months, 2 years, 6 years. And some sort of a roadmap, right? That will assure stakeholders, because remember, there are licenses, there are contracts, there are agreements that were signed. So to assume that because the commission has been put in place, therefore it will begin to be effective
immediately,
that will not be fair to ourselves. So I think, so for now, maybe for 3 years, I'm not sure the minister can tell us the roadmap, but we think that there should be a transition period during which policy and enforcement, regulation and support should be able to work together and support the full establishment of the commission.
Okay. There's been a lot of undertones about illicit financial flows in the mining sector, and as an independent observer, as a coalition, how do you think the commission, the Minerals Regulation Commission, can enhance transparency and accountability in Zambia's mineral value chain?
One of the things that need to be done to enhance transparency is licensing. Because that is where the problem, if it is a problem, that's where the issue is.
Okay.
How transparent is the licensing process? There has been attempts to enhance transparency in the MRC Act. Not yet there. And one of the gaps is that the licensing committee, the constitution of the licensing committee is not inclusive, number one. Number two, the structure and functioning of the licensing committee is still centralized.
Okay.
We are hoping with the coming in on board with the commission that maybe we can get a lot more involvement of the local, for example, the local authorities. Because remember, these mineral mining tenements are actually out there.
Yes.
They are not here in Lusaka.
Exactly.
So if you're going to give a license in Mufumbo, for example, you need presence in Mufumbo for you to really know that this actually exists and there is no conflict in terms of there's no existing license on this tenement. Yeah? So I think the starting point is, can we ensure that the licensing is done right? Of course, there have been also attempts to digitize the licensing process. It has faced bottlenecks here and there, but maybe it's part of what you'd expect when you're beginning something. Our hope and expectation is that we can quickly resolve that and fully digitize, so that there is clear to limit human interaction. Okay. And the second thing that needs to be done to reinforce beneficial ownership disclosure. Okay. Because until and unless we can disclose who the beneficial owners, the revenue will continue leaking. Because then we are also looking at how do we ensure that mining doesn't get the risk of PEPs, politically exposed persons. Okay. Because that is where the problem begins to arise. And, PEPs, politically exposed persons, are fairly influential and powerful. Yeah. So those two, I think if we can strengthen the licensing and also work on beneficial ownership disclosure, we should be able to get somewhere. Okay. The MOSES, the Mineral Output Statistical System, has also been helpful, but it requires some areas for improvement so that it can offer information that is real time and connects to the ZRR system at the port of exit and so on, and in between there, so that the quality of the mineral is able to determine. And because only when you're able to determine the quality of the minerals can you establish the value, right? And so strengthening that assessment is also another area that I think we
you spoke about decentralizing, especially the licensing aspect, because we know that most of these artisanal miners and the people that we're calling illegal miners may be having a challenge of normalizing their operations, and maybe this will be an answer to some of these illegal activities happening. How then can these people involved be able to obtain these licenses even under these circumstances? Some of them may have limited education, but they know what they're supposed to do.
First of all, as published to pay, we don't agree with the term illegal mining. Yeah, we do understand why they use it, but to go to a community and find somebody who's been mining for 15 years
and call them illegal,
we are the ones who are illegal, because we should have known. Because for 15 years, sure, the system should have been able to detect. But I think they use the word illegal from the point of a certificate, right? And part of the reason why there is unregulated mining is because of lack of presence or limited presence of the ministry. Of course, the commission, the intention is to decentralize, to make sure that at a very local level, district level, we have got presence. That is their aspiration. Are we going to get it? We hope to. Do we think we will? We should, because mining is important. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about sustainable mining. Whether artisanal mining, whether unregulated mining, whether an established mining entity, there is harm done to the environment.
Yes.
As a country that relies mostly on mining for its economic growth, how can we still ensure that even as we develop through the mining sector, we do not neglect the environment?
For now, it's very difficult for the country to proceed with mining without the harmful effects of mining or extraction on the environment. It's very difficult, almost impossible, right? Because of many issues. One of them is policy coherence, policy inconsistencies, and the mechanisms that ensures that the Ministry of Mines, the Ministry of Environment, the Ministry responsible for water, the Ministry responsible for forestry, are working together in a collaborative manner. That when these policies for this, and when a policy for this ministry is being developed, everybody is on board, not as a reference, but as part of the thinking, conceptualizing. So that framework is yet to be fully developed and unveiled to stakeholders like civil society, so that we can be assured that there will be no conflict. That's one. The second thing is resourcing. And I know sometimes it's a difficult question. Should we mine? Okay, so the argument is that when we mine, we make the money. And when we make the money, we'll take care of the environment. Okay, that sounds really nice. What we ask for, can you demonstrate how this is going to happen before we can proceed? So to answer your question, in the current scheme of things, mining will continue to have harmful effects on the environment. Because we are not coordinating. We are not talking to each other. If we are, we're not talking to each other enough and long enough, you know, in terms of the time we are spending. And thirdly, the community's involvement. For some strange reason, we think the community will just go and tell them that this is how you should do. And an approach that is worth considering is involving them in coming up with ways to mitigate. Beforehand. We haven't gotten to that yet, because even when they're doing environmental impact assessments and developing of policy, the EPBs, the extent to which the communities are involved remains to much to be desired. A lot needs to be done.
We have heard of cases of displacements as a result of establishing mines. Displacement, in some cases, may be necessary. But then how are we taking care of these people afterwards? What conversations are we having with them? Are they getting the right, fair compensation? Number one, for their infrastructure. Number two, for the land. And as a coalition, what's your take on this, and what do you recommend?
We think that any development that reduces human dignity is not worth it. If we are going to bring in investors and their actions reduce the quality of life of the community, then it is not worth it. Is it doable? Yes, it is doable. Why are we not doing it? Because the reason we're not doing it is because we think we know it all. Because we speak English, because we know, we can, we are in the corridors of power and so on. So the people in the community will just go and tell them, guys, you are moving. We have argued and presented that we need to begin to have meaningful conversations, meaningful engagements. Now, so meaningful is a big word, but one of the parameters in meaningful engagement is the time we spend with and in the community. If you go in there for 1 week, you are not going to understand the dynamics of that community for you to be able to appreciate how a shift from the point A to point B is going to impact them. And we're not investing in it sufficiently. We have presented before stakeholders that let's embrace a program approach as opposed to a project approach. So a program, as we know, is long-term. So we go in there and become part of the community, and we live with the community. Trust me, we can co-create solutions. But because everything is linked to funding, and funding limits how much time we spend in a particular community, we do it in a hurry, and that's how we see these harmful effects as a result of this investment or these investments. So the displacements reduce the quality of human life because they are very tokenistic. They do not carry the full value of a human life there. So we count the buildings, we count the number of stocks in terms of cassava, and the trees and so on and so on. No, there's a bit more. But can we appreciate that if you're there for 1 week?
No. You need to spend more time.
You need to spend a bit more time. And I think for us, we need to approach investments in mining from the human rights perspective. How does this affect people's access to the basic human rights?
Now, with the coming of the MRC, how then can the Commission set new standards for environmental monitoring and rehabilitation of mining sites?
So the beauty with starting anew is that you have an opportunity to learn from your past, from things that didn't work, and improve and do better. So the Commission has a huge opportunity. And this is why we keep saying as civil society, we keep arguing that we need to resource it. We need to give the Commission sufficient resources. And we're not talking about money alone. It's infrastructure, it's human, it's technology, it's, you know, we need to provide those resources to the Commission so that the desire for the Commission to be present in every district, since we are mining almost everywhere, is matched with a resource envelope, with training and integration, because we should begin to think about the intersectionality of development as opposed to just thinking mining as a standalone. But how does mining integrate with agriculture, with commerce, with education, with health? And if we're talking about the environment as well, you know, and climate change, what are the interplays among these actors? And then begin to develop interventions.
Sam, I would like to thank you so much for joining us on Climate Change.
It's been a pleasure. I didn't know it was 20 minutes already.
We hope to interact with you again in future.
My pleasure.
Appreciate some of the works, the impact of your work in the governance of this country.
Thank you so much, and continue doing such a great work here.
All right, thank you so much. This is Climate Check. Join me on the other side. Now imagine if trees could provide Wi-Fi, just how many trees you would plant? Well, they provide oxygen. We definitely cannot do without it. Destruction of nature, such as forests, has led to irreversible climatic changes to our world. Join me as I talk to policy formulators, change makers, and climate change interest groups on Climate Check, weekly on this channel. Now you are the solution to climate change. We have come to the end of the program for this week. Join me next week, same time, same channel. Remember to play your part in environmental protection and climate justice. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.